Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up.
Welcome to the Total Health Collective here at 1150 AM KKNW. I am your host, Don Nacho, and I am very excited to come to you live from the Crystal Void down in Tacoma, down here on 3802 South Studer Street, Tacoma. Yes, oh my God, what an interesting topic that I have for you guys, and I am very excited to make this show on Veterans Day. And well, let me backtrack a little bit. Veterans and Angels, and I want to state my case for why November 11th is such an important date, and why 11/11 plays a vital role not only in my life but in lives of many others. So, very humbled and blessed to be with great company today. And again, I'm coming to you guys live from Crystal Voice down here in Tacoma. What a blessing today! We had an event earlier this morning for veterans, and it's called Veterans Yoga Project. You guys can check them out at veteransyogaproject.org. And again, just so happy and blessed to be able to discuss and touch on Veterans Day, especially now in these times. So I got a video that I want to play for you guys that really makes my case. And I would love to be able to share that video with you guys now, if you could play that now. So.
The story was given to me by Ed Hardy, news director of a radio station much like this one. It was a copy of a letter written by a young Marine named Michael, who was hospitalized after being wounded on a Korean battlefield. The letter was written home to his mother, but it was first seen and read by a Navy chaplain. In the letter, Michael describes what happened to him on that lonely, frozen battlefield. When the chaplain first saw the letter, he talked with the boy's mother, the sergeant in charge of the boys' patrol, and the patrol members themselves. Privately, they will all still tell you that what you're about to hear is a true story. We simply read the letter at Christmas time and let it stand on its own merit. The sergeant, the patrol members, and Michael are real people. The story is the letter, a copy of the original. A letter from Michael. Dear Mom, I wouldn't dare write this letter to anyone but you, because no one else would believe it. Maybe even you'll find it hard, but I've got to tell somebody. First off, I'm in a hospital. Now, don't worry, you hear me? Don't worry. I was wounded, but I'm okay. You understand? Okay. The doctor says I'll be up and around in a month, but that isn't what I want to tell you. Remember when I joined the Marines last year? Remember when I left, how you told me to say a prayer to St. Michael every day? You really didn't have to tell me that. Ever since I can remember, you always told me to pray to St. Michael the Archangel. You even named me after him. Well, I always have. When I got to Korea, I prayed even harder. Remember the prayer you taught me? Michael, Michael of the morning, fresh court of heaven adorning. You know the rest of it. Well, I said it every day. Sometimes when I was marching, sometimes resting, but always before I went to sleep. I even got some of the other fellows to say it. Well, one day I was with an advanced detail way up forward of the front lines. I was plodding along in the bitter cold. My breath was like cigar smoke. I thought I knew every guy in a patrol, when alongside of me comes another Marine I'd never met before. He was bigger than any Marine I'd ever seen. He must have been 6'4" and built in proportion. Gave me a feeling of security to have such a buddy near. Anyway, there we were, trudging along. Rest of the patrol spread out. Just to start a conversation, I said, "Cold, ain't it?" And then I laughed. Here I was with a good chance of getting killed any minute, and I'm talking about the weather. My companion seemed to understand. I heard him laugh softly. I looked at him. "I've never seen you before. I thought I knew every man in the outfit." "I just joined at the last minute," he replied. "The name is Michael." "Is that so?" I said. "That's my name, too." "I know," he said, and then went on, "Michael, Michael of the morning." I was too amazed to say anything for a minute. How did he know my name and the prayer that you had taught me? Then I smiled to myself. Every guy in the outfit knew about me. Hadn't I taught the prayer to anyone who'd listen? Why, now and then they even referred to me as St. Michael. Neither of us spoke for a time, and then he broke the silence. We're going to have some trouble up ahead. He must have been in fine physical shape, for he was breathing so lightly I couldn't see his breath. Mine poured out in great clouds. There was no smile on his face now. Trouble ahead, I thought to myself. Well, with the enemy all around us, that's no great revelation. Snow began to fall in great thick globs. In a brief moment, the whole countryside was blotted out, and I was marching in a white fog of wet, sticky particles. My companion disappeared. "Michael!" I shouted in sudden alarm. I felt his hand on my arm. His voice was rich and strong. "This will stop shortly." His prophecy proved to be correct. In a few minutes, the snow stopped as abruptly as it had begun. The sun was a hard, shining disk. I looked back for the rest of the patrol. There was no one in sight. We lost him in that heavy fall of snow. I looked ahead as we came over a little rise. Mom, my heart stopped. There were 7 of them, in their padded pants and jackets and funny little hats. Only there wasn't anything funny about them now. 7 rifles were aimed at us. "Down, Michael!" I screamed and hit the frozen earth. I heard those rifles fire almost as one. I heard the bullets. But there was Michael, still standing. Mom, those guys couldn't have missed. Not at that range. I expected to see him literally blown to bits. But there he stood, making no effort to fire himself. He was paralyzed with fear. It happens sometimes, Mom, even to the bravest. He was like a bird, fascinated by a snake. At least, that's what I thought then. I jumped up to pull him down and felt a sudden flame in my chest. I often wondered what it felt like to be hit. Now, I know. I remember feeling strong arms about me. Arms that laid me ever so gently on a pillow of snow. I opened my eyes for one last look. I was dying. Maybe I was even dead. I remember thinking, well, this isn't so bad. Maybe I was looking into the sun. Maybe I was in shock. But it seemed I saw Michael standing erect again. Only this time, his face was shining with terrible splendor. As I say, maybe it was the sun in my eyes, but he seemed to change as I watched him. He grew bigger. His arms stretched out wide. Maybe it was the snow falling again, but there was a brightness around him, like the wings of an angel. In his hand was a sword that flashed with a million lights. Well, that's the last thing I remember till the rest of the fellows came up and found me. I don't know how much time had passed, but now and then I had a moment's respite from the pain, fever. I remember telling them of the enemy just ahead. "Where's Michael?" I asked. I saw them look at one another. "Where's who?" asked one. Michael, that big Marine I was walking with just before the snow squall hit us." "Kid," said the sergeant, "you weren't walking with anyone. I had my eyes on you the whole time. You were getting too far out. I was just going to call you in when you disappeared in the snow." He looked at me curiously. "How'd you do it, kid?" "How'd I do what?" I asked, half angry despite my wound. "This big Marine named Michael and I were just..." "Son," said the sergeant kindly, "I picked this outfit myself, and there just ain't another Michael in it. You're the only Mike in it." He paused for a moment. "Just how'd you do it, kid?" "We heard shots. There hasn't been a shot fired from your rifle. And there isn't a bit of lead in them 7 bodies over the hill there." I didn't say anything. What could I say? I could only look open-mouthed with amazement. It was then the sergeant spoke again. "Kid," he said gently, "every one of those 7 bodies over the hill there was killed a sword stroke. That's all I can tell you, Mom. As I say, it may have been the sun in my eyes. It may have been the cold or the pain. But that's what happened. Love. Michael.
Again, I feel this video makes my point exactly. I feel that Veterans Day and 11/11 is no coincidence. And this is why I felt the need to report and come to you live from Crystal Voyage. Crystal Voyage is a great, like I said, I've said it many times, I consider it my second home. There's a lot of great people here with a lot of great energy. And this is where I feel inspired to continue to do what I do. When it comes to numerology, synchronicity, there's a lot of things that inspired me. When it comes to helping people and even learning Reiki and all that good stuff, this is where I come for inspiration. So I feel this video is important to me, and hopefully you guys found it to be important for you as well. I feel the angels walk among us, and like I said, for veterans, and those few percentages of people who raise their hand and volunteer to defend our nation, knowing that they may potentially lose their lives, those are the angels among us. The 1% of the population that continue to do the things that need to be done in this world. So yes, like I said, I'm excited to be able to discuss veterans and angels. And when I come back from this quick commercial break, I am going to introduce you to some just great human beings who will bring more light into angels, numerology, and synchronicity. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up.
Ever board a plane on a really cloudy day? The sun is out, but you can't see it. However, once the plane reaches an altitude above the heavy cloud cover, dynamic blasts of light reveal gorgeous blue skies, and you can see for hundreds of miles in all directions, clearly. In our lives, under emotional and mental overcast, navigation without the proper tools can be very difficult and confusing.
Hi, I'm Michelle Holbein, owner of Silver Linings Life Coaching, and I am thrilled to talk to you about seeing your life above the clouds. Are you stuck? In transition? Working together will create success in the altitudes of life you dream of from where you are right now. Ready for a powerful conversation about propelling past those clouds that run your life? Get on board for the life you know you could have, living into what's on just the other side, thanking every single cloud we pass, knowing there are just as many silver linings.
Visit Michelle today at silverliningslifecoaching.com. That's silverliningslifecoaching.com.
Are you still suffering from a chronic, painful condition that will just not go away? Ever wonder what else there is that would help you experience the health and life that you were designed to have?
Hi, my name is Nacho, and I am the host of the new show, Total Health Collective, live Saturday afternoons at 5 p.m. here on 1150 a.m. KKNW. Tune into our network and let our network tune into you. Let our Total Health Collective be your Total Health Connective.
Tune in Saturdays 5 to 6 on 1150 a.m.
Your business is not about criminals. When hiring new employees or protecting your premises, no one thinks they are bringing in someone who is untrustworthy or that they have an unguarded arena. But it happens. In this world, there's no such thing as 100% guaranteed security. However, at Apache 6, we are 100% ready to help you create the layers necessary for optimal outcome, whether hiring new staff or securing your business. From vetting, access control, and cybersecurity to surveillance and workplace awareness training, we work 24/7 to reduce compromised safety and the millions of dollars lost every day by way of employee theft and imminent outside dangers. From vetting, access control, and cybersecurity to surveillance and workplace awareness training, we work 24/7 to reduce compromised safety and the millions of dollars lost every day by way of employee theft and imminent outside dangers. Your business was never meant to be about criminals, and our job here at Apache 6 is to help you stop the criminal before there is a crime.
Call us at Apache 6 today, 866-222-7715. That's 866-222-7715.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen.
I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Welcome back to the Total Health Collective here on 1150 AM KKNW. I am your host, Nacho, and before the break, we were playing the video on St. Michael and the Marines down in Korea. And I played that video because it makes my point. I strongly feel that angels do walk among us, and especially within the military ranks. When I first joined the military, I reported to boot camp on November 11th. I didn't know much about Veterans Day, what it meant, or even the 11/11. It was a few years before even the synchronicity, the meaning, or even the numerology of 11/11 didn't really resonate or have an impact on me until down the road. And so, looking back now, I feel blessed, and I look into my life a little more, and I feel that 11/11 is such a important number and a big role for me. And so, being today 11/11, November 11th is Veterans Day, I feel the need to come down here and report live from Crystal Voyage with wonderful ladies here. I have Linda, Pat, and Jody with me as guests. Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
So, ladies, thank you for being here. My thing here is that 11/11 is a big part in my life, and I would love for you to help me and help my listeners maybe understand the numerology, the behind the scenes of what 11/11 means for many people, because I feel that people are just starting to wake up to this, and I think it's important that we share what 11/11 really means into people's lives. Anybody want to tackle that?
11/11 is about new beginnings. Particularly this year, we have had many, many downloads of high energy and light. It is mandatory that every being on this planet begins to integrate light. One of the ways that we do that is by awakening codes, 11, 11, 4, 4, 2, 2. We begin to see those patterns over and over and over again, and they cue us to say, hey, wake up. Today, 11/11 is very significant, not only for our veterans, but for everybody on this planet. Today, we have a taste of what the energy is going to be like in 2018. When you walk through any doorway, the door to the bathroom, the door to the grocery store, the door to your house, the door to your neighbor, you are walking through 11/11, right?
Either side of the doorway is a 1, and you walk right through it. Every day in 2018,
we have the opportunity to create that which we wish to experience and create. Everybody on the planet is now called to be of service to the planet. Yes, we are individuals. Yes, we are states, countries. But we the people of Earth. And as such, we need to create community and come together as one. Every day in 2018, we have the opportunity every day to create something from unconditional love, joy, trust, and intuition. Our intuition and our knowingness will grow every day. Every day, people awake every 3 seconds. A person wakes up, and they begin to realize that I am part of the universe. Our military are now
5th and 7th dimensional beings.
All people on the planet have to have the vibration of 7th dimensional beings to come into a 5th dimensional planet where we are to help facilitate change to 7th dimension. We just went from 3rd, 4th, and now we're in 5th. As such, Archangel Michael does way more than just offer protection. He helps our soldiers, our emergency personnel, everybody on the planet, to hold your vibration and to speak from the heart who you are, which is unconditional love. Our soldiers are the peacekeepers. Yes, they do horrible things in the name of peace. Yes, they suffer greatly. But they are our peacekeepers.
And with every breath, they say, today there is world peace. Today there is peace. I send unconditional love. Every time they speak from the heart, they go on a march, they pick up their gun, it is about unconditional love. For those who have suffered and lost limbs and lives and been burned horribly, please know that Archangel Raphael has wrapped you in his green unconditional love, and that you have the opportunity to teach the rest of us how to treat you every day. You have brought many gifts to humanity. You have brought us a huge amount of ways with artificial limbs, artificial intelligence. You have taught us much about courage and understanding and compassion. Throughout it all, you have all taught us about love. We cannot disregard ourselves or our neighbors. We must begin to live love unconditionally every day. And for that, I am very grateful. I am very honored. And I thank you from the depths of my being that you have chosen a very difficult path. Not only do you teach we, the people of the world, but you know unconditionally about trust, intuition, listening to that voice. It is that you have many legions of people to help you. Every day when you strap on your boots and your uniform and you go to work, you have legions of people to help you. If you are in intelligence, you have people. If you are in combat, you have people. If you are in the Coast Guard and you are patrolling the waters and the reserves to help people in need around the world, you are once again
serving humanity. And 2018, and from this point on, we must be, we the people of Earth, we must be one. We must work on our intuition, our trust, our compassion, and most of all, we must stand every day in unconditional love and gratitude. So I would say to you, create big. Every day there is no mistake. Choose love, choose joy, and every day we have the gift to be the master of our path, which is our divine right. Every day. It starts with us. Every day, if we say, today with every step and every breath, I send unconditional love to everybody on the planet of Earth. Today, everybody will know unconditional love. Everybody will have fresh water and food to eat. Everybody will have shelter. It is that simple. We must begin to live our part and do our part. We've had many changes this year. Next year is about mastery of self, but mastery of standing in community with others in love and gratitude. You must choose. Those who do not choose will exit the planet. Once again, we have many earthquakes, many fires, many opportunities to check out. We've had huge soul groups come in, baby boomers and generations.
So it is that we must begin to choose what we want to do and experience. When you choose love and joy every day, love and joy comes to you in many ways, 13 seconds or less. When you add passion and fun, 3 seconds or less. We create our reality when we are fulfilled with love, joy, and happiness. We must choose gratitude. We must choose every day to be the leader. Choose to be the master of our life plan. Take responsibility and say, yes, I am not perfect, but today I will try my best. I will do my best. I will say hi to the homeless person on the street. I will push somebody's cart for them or help them load their car. Every day, be present and be the gift. You bring much joy to people through the little things. Simply being a witness to somebody's pain is a gift. We have to begin to listen to ourselves and to others. It is the simple things that have the biggest impact. When you talk to your friends about your new idea, or talk to them about this show, or you sit and talk to a vet about their experience, you once again hold sacred space, and we begin to change our perceptions. We have not always treated our military well. We have denied them health care. We have denied them celebration. We have denied them acknowledgement. The new space in time in fifth is changing. All will be acknowledged for their efforts and their gifts. All contribute. Those that do massage, those that are EMTs, those that make our food, those that drive our goods from one part of the country to the other around the world, all have equal rights, all are acknowledged, all are dependent upon me and you. We must begin to act accordingly. You would not want somebody to disregard you, so why would you disregard them? It is about choice, and we must choose every day that which we wish to create, and it must be from a place of love. You will hear love, the state of grace, and gratitude many times in 2018, because Fifth Dimension is only programmed with love, gratitude, and the state of grace. State of grace is your connectedness to the greater consciousness, to the all, to God, Spirit, whatever your religion or belief is. It is all one. We must connect with one and all. When we do that, all things are possible. It's exciting that most people are beginning to
sorry, I couldn't figure out how to hold the mic, are beginning to connect to each other with greater understanding and greater joy. When we do that, we raise each other's vibrational rate up, and we begin to create a better world for ourselves. It is not about the money. It is about all of us being and sharing the load. It is that we must all contribute. And in doing so, things come to us, and we have the money, the house, the car, the one, our partners, our mates. Everything is possible. Remember, you are not alone. You must ask your guides and your angels for help. The unknown angels are one of my favorite groups. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there are legions of them around the world. And if you ask, they will help you. They will help you get from Tacoma to Seattle in rush hour traffic. The angels of protection protect your house and protect you. Your guardian angel is with you from the time you decide to come here until you get back to the other side. All angels are with you. All will come if you ask. Archangel Raphael will help you if you are sick or in pain. If you are a veteran, remember, you are serving a bigger person. You are expanding consciousness. You are expanding our technology and understanding of the human body, but more importantly, that of the human spirit. We must once again acknowledge and help our disabled veterans, our wounded veterans. And through them, they help us create a better healing space for us. It is through their technology and their grace and their strength and their courage to heal that they heal us. And we have many gifts and blessings, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Very well put. I love that. So many keys. I don't know where to begin. That was amazing, and that was amazing. This is why I felt the need to. Not sure if I've shared the story with you guys, but when I had this download, I was going from Redmond to Tacoma, and I had this quick message in my head, this vision of I have to help veterans and cancer patients. And in doing so, I was like, oh, wow, this heals cancer. I'm like, I love that. And I was driving, and I'm like, it's knocking in my head. I'm thinking, oh, you're serious? Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to write this down. I'm like, oh, my God, you're serious. So I started writing it down, and next thing you know, I was rushing on 405 to get to the office because I just couldn't wait to put that down on paper. And I kid you not, in less than 12 hours, I was able to form This Heals Cancer website and the business, what have you. And I felt the need to help veterans and cancer patients. And this is where I am now. This is what brought me here, because I was one of those veterans that I wouldn't say I felt at the cracks, but there was a point in my life, like many veterans, where I felt that I didn't belong. I hated to see the world in the state that it was in, and I felt that I did not belong. And so I felt that maybe I was better off taking my own life. And I jokingly say, you know what, I just want to go up to heaven. I'd rather serve under St. Michael. That's what I prefer to do. And obviously, I had an divine intervention to get me to where I am today. I'm so blessed that I've gone this route, and it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy at all. There's been a lot of life lessons learned. And looking back now, I feel like, wow, I can't believe, because, yesterday was technically, quote-unquote, my birthday, all right? The Marine Corps birthday is on November 10th, 1775. So for me, it's important, and then followed by, November 11th, which is Veterans Day. And I've always looked back now and say, wow, I can't believe that I put my feet on those yellow footprints on November 11th. And I tell myself, was I reporting to the Marine Corps, or was I reporting to a much higher power than I can think of, right? Looking back now, I'm thinking maybe I was, but I have my doubt. Every now and then I have my doubts. But I found it to be such a blessing. I really do. Joe, do you want to chime in a little bit on synchronicities or 11:11? What does it mean to you?
Well, I always say with synchronicities, there are no accidents. There are just synchronicities. They are our signs, our symbols, our way that we connect. And it's about opening. Linda was right. It's about how we open and pay attention, how we connect with each other, and look around, pay attention, look for signs, look for symbols. For me, just it being a quote-unquote light worker, the way that happened to me was a synchronicity. I'd been told, hey, you have this chart, you would be, you have the astrological chart of a spiritual counselor, and I kind of laughed. And I was like, what? And the astrologer said, well, you'll get a sign if if you do. And I was in downtown Tacoma, and I woke up and it's just something different today. That was me paying attention. That's the day I really woke up, I believe. I was walking downtown, and I just knew something was going to happen. And I saw a sign on a pole, a little sign, and it blew off the pole. It was windy, and it blew across. And I picked it up, and there was a garbage can. I'm like, oh, this sign blew off, and I put it in the garbage can. The sign blew back out of the garbage can and blew onto my chest. And then I pulled the sign out, and it was an invitation for a workshop on spiritual healing and connecting with your source that was happening that night. And I went, maybe I should pay attention to this. And I think that's how synchronicity, that's how signs and things that we're supposed to pay attention to, they happen. They will keep coming back until we look at it. And so, of course, I went to the workshop. I was the only one that showed up and had a reading that changed my life. And that was through a lot of synchronicity, and also just being aware. And I think we all are getting to that place. I think that's part of what's going on with the planet right now. We're much more aware. I think a lot of the challenges that are happening now with, the ethical things, truth, I think that's all to remind us of what our identity is. I think there's a lot of souls, like you said, that, have lost their lives, but they have done so as the soul agreement, as a group agreement, to remind us of what's important. And we feel it. We all feel it. It's not just the ones that are there, because we're a collective. We're all one. Every one of us feels the energy. And so, and it's our reminder that there's more than this, and that, we're meant to be a loving being. This is our true identity. And I think we're getting back to that. Like, what is the lie? What is the corruption? What is the secret? That's all coming to the surface. I liken it to being a tidal wave of reaching down and grabbing the mud and throwing it up in our face so we could go, look at this. This is what we have. Is this what we want? Every day, like Linda said, we create. And so here's what we have to work with. Now, how are we going to heal that? How are we going to raise our consciousness? How are we going to move past this? And how are we going to be more kind, more loving, more compassionate with each other?
Those are some great points too. And I've seen, in fact, my goodness, today I've experienced a lot of synchronicity. I've seen, the 1111. I even posted it on my Facebook, but 222, 333, even today 444. And I jokingly always said in my show throughout the day, I always kind of point out when 5:55 pulled up on the clock for everybody who's listening. I had mentioned before, or after the break, you guys' input and your thoughts on the video of St. Michael. And Pat, you said, when I walked in here in the past, you mentioned that you have sometimes seen St. Michael buzzing around, flying around when I walk in. Do you want to comment a little bit on that, and then your point of view or your take on that video with St. Michael?
We're seeing the angels more. At least I have. I've been seeing them more, and I think that they're needed. We need to see them now. But I want to just make a comment when we're talking about the 1111. And the definition is different for different people, but I really do see it as the wake-up. It's like it gets your attention. You see the sequence of numbers. You just go, oh, okay. But what I want to mention is that it's been our service people who have set the standard for what is unconditional love. To lay down your life for another being is the ultimate sacrifice. It is true unconditional love. I think that we all have had experiences where we've had a loved one and we think they're in pain and they're suffering, and we think, I want to help them. I would take their pain for them if I could. Now that makes sense. But now, particularly since 9/11, what do we see? Total strangers running into buildings that are falling. We see people covering strangers to prevent them from being hit by bullets. We see people standing in long lines giving blood. Now, logically speaking, why are we helping strangers? it doesn't really make sense, except if we start to recognize that all of us are divine beings. That little light worker thing, that's the light in there. And I think subconsciously we really do know we're all related. Why would we help strangers? And we're seeing it more and more. Our servicemen have led us. The servicemen and women, they have led us for many generations to see this. And now we are taking our turn, okay? We have to stand up. Fear is not way out there. Fear is at the concerts. Fear is in the church. Fear is all over. But the one thing, though, is that when, for example, when we're focused on taking care of someone else, we forget our fear. We forget everything. The only objective is them. There was a famous story. It was in San Francisco years ago of a policeman who was basically holding on to a man's hand who he was trying to leap off of the bridge. And at some point the man says, "You have to let go of me. I have nothing left." And the young police officer, he had a family and all, he said, "I'm not letting go." Backup came. They were able to get the man up off the bridge. And later reporters said, "Why did you hold on to them? He had nothing to live for. You had everything." And the police officer said, "Because he was me." That is that we lose the boundary. And each life means something to us. And this is what we're moving to. And, yeah, it would be really nice if we could open our hearts and open our consciousness, and it would be easy. But we're being shoved against the wall with all of these things happening. And it's not that all of us are going to experience these incidents, but because we're all connected by media, we all see it. And even as Jody mentioned, even if we don't see it, we feel the energy. And so it's not just about opening that personal heart where we love our friends and our family. It's opening a cosmic heart, a big, big heart. This is Michael. This is big stuff. This is courage, where we become more than our fear. We become the divine beings that we truly are. I've never really cared for the word light worker because for the long time I thought it meant, separation from everyone else. And as I watch everything day to day, I go, my God, it's wave after wave of light worker. You don't have to be a saint. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody is. You just have to get out there and do your best and open your heart and align it with your higher self. The one thing I found is that most people have a very poor opinion of themselves. We don't realize how phenomenal we are. And that's not boasting. It's just our true nature. And once we move into that, nothing is impossible. Nothing.
That was powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I do feel like there's a higher energy angel guiding me. And I think we said in the past that I've had plenty of spirit guides kind of guide me to where I need to be. And being this Veterans Day, Jody, you had mentioned that you had posted something on Facebook about your dad. Do you want to share that with us?
Okay. Here's the post I had. My dad was in the Air Force. Daddy was a military pilot whose world was blanketed in blue sky and clouds, a gentle soul whose spirit soared on missions that took him heavenward like a human eagle armed with great metallic wings and spinning propellers. Being a pilot was his vocation, his duty, but flying was his passion. As a child, I was blissfully unaware of the many times Dad found himself in harm's way, the dangerous nature of his work, the people he saved, or the supplies he delivered all over the world. I just knew my daddy was away from home a lot, and I missed him terribly. I remember how happy I was each time he returned, bearing exotic gifts from Japan, the Philippines, Greenland, Egypt, Vietnam, and Thailand. My dad never spoke about the close calls, the nightmares, the flashbacks, or the sacrifices he made over the years to support our family, our country, or the many times he hurt because he was missing events at home and milestones in his kids' growing up years because he was doing his job. I realized the impact when I was 19 and my dad held my arm and walked me down the aisle to marry my high school sweetheart. He looked at me with tears in his eyes and asked, "Where's my little girl gone?" "She's grown up, Dad. She's a woman." He cried, and it was then, in that moving moment, that I truly understood everything. God bless our servicemen and women who give up so much to serve a greater call, a greater God. Special prayers to husbands and wives who hold their families together while part of their heart is serving our country far away. Help our military children to be proud and feel protected while their mommy and daddy are gone until the time they too grow up and understand. May they feel the overwhelming love and pride that I do today for my dad, the retired military pilot, an amazing father.
Thank you for sharing that. As a veteran, there's things that happen, and you can't understand why some folks are at the wrong place at the wrong time, and why their lives were cut short, so young. And I know a few who lost their lives when they were young. And when I went to boot camp on November 11th, it has a new meaning for me now, just because I see the numbers, I don't understand them. I still don't quite understand those numbers, because you said that 11 could mean something different to someone else. It could be a yes to somebody else or a no to somebody else. It's different codes, and there's so many codes that I just don't understand. And so maybe one of you guys can enlighten me a little bit more on these numbers and what they can mean for some of us.
Okay, on the 11th. So if we're looking at tarot, 11 is the card for justice, and justice must be balanced. But in other decks, the 11 represents power, and power also must be balanced, both of them. For some people who are interested with soulmates and their twin flames, the 11 represents the two beings coming together. Other people see it as a gateway. Linda mentioned that, and it's often seen as a gateway. I have to admit, when I see the 11s, I always think of the Twin Towers. That's a personal thing for me. I always see the towers, and yet I see them as the towers fell down, the angels were just coming right in there and taking them right up. As I mentioned, it's also what I feel is a wake-up number, and also for a life path number. People who deal with numerology, I think we both have the 11s. It's a master number. It's about intuition, and also I like to say it kind of, it really does kind of depend on how you want to read it. But I do want to say one thing about what you mentioned about why, for example, a lot of your buddies were gone. It's really difficult often to say this, but a soul will have many, many lifetimes. And it would be wonderful if we all lived a long time and all passed peacefully in our sleep, but we don't do that. And a person who lives only a few months or a few years, that was the life lesson right in there. And sometimes we can't see the whole picture. It doesn't look right from this side, but it makes perfect sense to the soul. If you are alive and you're breathing, you still have work to do, and that's why you're here, and there should be no guilt about it. Your buddies, your friends, anyone who has lost a loved one, they're not gone. They are right there with you, and I guarantee they are cheering you on now because we're all working on this together.
Awesome. Thank you. And for you guys who are in Synchronicity, it's 5:55, like I always tell you. No, thank you for saying that. This week, on Thursday, I lost what I consider a dear friend to cancer, and I couldn't understand why. And I tried to have him on the radio a couple weeks back, and I don't know why. We had a breakdown in communication. It happened to be his birthday, the day that I was trying to get him to be an interview. So the RSO, the Rick Simpson oil that he was taking, has sedated him to a point where he was just worn out for his birthday and trying to be active. And so we didn't connect, and I wasn't able to get him on the radio. And it it's unfortunate, but, I want his story. I want his courage. So he had been battling cancer 4 times in stage 4, and he swore it was the cannabis, it was the RSO that gave him the energy to continue on with his battle. And it was sad that he lost that battle on Thursday. And I had mentioned that I didn't cry for my grandpa when he passed on Columbus Day last month, because he also battled cancer, but I was happy to see him go because I didn't want to see him in pain. But he was 85, but on Thursday I shed a tear, and then I just couldn't. The whole day I was just saddened by Mark's loss. And some of us have work to do, continue to work to do, and I'm not playing God. I can't say who goes, who can't, 10-0, and it's unfortunate. But thank you for sharing that, because that puts a little bit of light into how I see things. I'm always learning from someone, and I take that advice and continue on with my mission. I wish there was more time, because we can go on and on and on. I love this topic. I love it. I feel that 11/11, November 11th, Veterans Day, and Angels is no coincidence. And speaking of Angels, I know you ladies are going to be doing an event, a workshop, if you will, on Angels on December 6th. Any of you guys want to care to comment? We got a few minutes left to comment on that event.
This is part of our meetup, and it will be Wednesday. It's called Angels Among Us, Our Divine Connection. It's December 6th. It's 5 to 8. However, the talk begins at 7, and it will be at the Sunset Grill. So if you want to come in a little earlier for dinner, or we also have 15-minute readings available if you'd like that. The Sunset Grill is in Gig Harbor at 4926 Point Fosdick Drive Northwest. It's where Main and Vine and Ace Hardware are. We had a great group last month, and we're looking forward to this. It's a time where you can learn, you can ask questions, and also be a part of a community. And so as we're in the season of light, angels will be a perfect topic.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Reporting live from Crystal Voyage again next Saturday for the Bigelson brothers. I heard them on the show last Saturday, and I think their work is remarkable and what they're doing, and the positive vibes, the vibration, that positive vibes and negative vibes, and I just think it's remarkable. And I'm looking forward to next year as well. Thank you for being here. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay fit, and remember, the power to heal yourself is within you. Good night.